Thank you. It is me again. I teach Scratch 3 and 4, and it's a very, very inspiring way of learning math because my elementary math upbringing, I guess 20 years ago, was a lot more repetition and not as interesting, let's say. So the Singapore welcome everyone to. I hope you enjoy my nice graphics here. I didn't draw any of them. So the methodology of Singapore math. Why Singapore math, and what is their philosophy? So Singapore math uses a concept they call the CPA approach, and that stands for concrete, pictorial, and abstract. So abstract ideas are, I got to share my screen. I haven't done that. Apologize. No one's interrupted me. So here it is. There we are. So concrete, pictorial, abstract. So an abstract idea, numbers like 4 and 3 and 12, those and length and width, these are concepts that may not be instantly understandable to someone learning math and yet. So the Singapore math program they start children off with manipulatives, which are things like base 10 blocks or Lego blocks, or you could use marbles. So they use physical objects to demonstrate things. And then we get into using pictures. If we can show a concept with pictures, then it's easily more understandable to everyone. It's a universal language. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what language you speak. If you see 5 apples, you know there's 5 apples. It's something we can recognize and memorize easier. And then we use these concepts to help aid students in abstract thinking of using numbers and solving problems. So required texts, as mentioned, I teach grade 3 and grade 4, and we use both the Singapore Math Level 2 and the Word Problems Level 2 and the Singapore Math Level 3 and the Word Problems Level 3. There are, who am I? I just told you half an hour ago, but to summarize, I have a bachelor's in music from University of Toronto, and then I am getting my bachelor's in education from the University of Ottawa, and I taught grade 5 math last year to my students in a Ottawa Carleton District School Board elementary school. And my teacher who I was studying under was really got me teaching math, and he lent me a bunch of books. One called Math Talks, and it's similar to the Singapore method. So when I got these books and I started researching for this course, I recognized a lot of the concepts that they were going for, and they may have been developed from Singapore math. So I taught that to my students. I also teach Scratch programming, as you may have heard from me. And then I'm very passionate about technology and fostering critical thinking skills. And I've taught for over a decade, mostly lots of music and in classrooms and camps and private lessons. And there are my kids. I missed them from last year. Our class objectives. So this class will be doing. You'll be doing a lot of learning math and a lot of practice, a lot of going over some of these questions in these books. But I really think it's important that you learn to present your math as well. So each lesson, each class, students will have at least one question to present to everyone, and so this fosters confidence in math and your language skills, and it will all be there to help. But students will have to present assigned questions, and other students will be respectful of the teacher and the other students. So no calling out, and I'll go over this with you in the class, and we'll raise hands to answer general questions because we don't want to interrupt our fellow students during their presentation. So that's our rules. Homework. I'll show you the schedule. This is the grade 3 schedule. So during week 1, we would go through, each class will go through a few questions from each unit. And then you, over the week, I believe it is, you would have until you see me next time, can complete the rest of the questions in that unit enough to gain an understanding of the concepts and practice. And then there's a review section, usually every 2 units. There's one where it's every 3 units, so we split it up a little bit. I'll show you that in a second. But so I'll go through some of the questions and teach you the concepts, and then you practice, and then we'll take up the review at the beginning of the next class. And those may be some of the questions that you present to us. So this is the grade 4 section. And you see here, I have fractions and then word problems. There's 2 sections in each class where it says word problems, and there's 3 for grade 4. Those are, you have I don't know it won't show up with my background, but it's a question, and then there's a full page of room for you to draw and answer it and show your work. And the word problems, you'll present those to us. Thank you for muting there. Okay, so word problems. Word problem books contain many practice questions to further strengthen students' math and skills. Each student will present at least 2 word problems and their solutions to the class. So here's an example question, and it'll showcase what makes Singapore math a little bit more unique than my math training. Claudia bought 2 filing cabinets and 4 cupboards. A filing cabinet costs 3 times as much as a cupboard. She paid $800 altogether. What was the cost of 1 cupboard? So this question gives us a bunch of information, and I like to start by writing down all my pieces, my puzzle pieces. I put them down in front of me, and then I go through the question and figure out how to make all these things connect, how to solve the puzzle. So we have 2 filing cabinets and 4 cupboards, but a filing cabinet costs 3 times as much cupboard. So this is a ratio question where you see something that it says a filing cabinet costs 3 times as much as a cupboard. We can write 1 cabinet is equal to 3 cupboards for price. This is a cost ratio. This is the price of 1 cabinet is 1 filing cabinet is the price of 3 cupboards. So therefore, if we know that we need 2 cabinets, so that 2 cabinets would be worth 6 cupboards. So we can draw this we can model this in picture format, and by drawing little squares. And you'll see this is a strategy that Singapore math uses consistently and constantly. And the neat thing is, any of these strategies, we'll have them all memorized by the end of the class, I imagine. But they are in the front of each book, of both books, and there's pictures to show how to do them, how to make tens and count on your fingers, and different ways to line up fractions. I didn't mention that in my schedule there, I try to spend 2 days on fractions, because that is one section that I know students are usually struggle a little bit more with. So we spend a little bit more time on fractions. So we've written this out now. We have 4 cupboards, and we have 6 units that are the same as the cupboards. So basically we have 4 sections and we have 6. We add those together, we have 10, and together all of those are $800. So that's why we've written this this parentheses here that shows the total of all these units are 800. So we've made a pictorial version of it, and now we can decide to use our method 9, which is divide without regrouping. Since this is such an easy number to divide by, this is my text-based representation of this. How many times does 10 go into 8? 0. So we'd bring down the 0. How many times does 10 go into 80? 8. So we bring down the 0, we put up the 8 up there, and then we'll have 0. We'll go over this if we haven't done this yet. So we now know that Claudia's cupboards cost $80 each. And so we can solve questions like that. We express it in a word format because it was a word question. So to recap what we did there, we gathered data, we wrote out our given information to decide what the problem is, how to solve the problem. Then we visualized it so that we can better explain it and understand it. And then we decided which strategies to use, and we solved it. So that is the Singapore math grades 3 and 4. And I didn't set my timer, but thank you very much. Any questions?
There was one question.
Yes.
Somebody asked if this is also for grade 2 as well.
This is, have they, the grade 2, possibly grade 3.
So I have it here that it says for grade 3 to 6, but would grade 2s be allowed to sign up for this course?
Grade 2s are, I don't think you get into multiplication yet. So this is, I have the curriculum up somewhere. We'll have to talk to the organizers about that. I'll let you, we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dean.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay, so.
Excuse me, I have one question.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. For my son, like he's, for now he's grade 2, but he will be grade 3. But then he's taking the math course with grade 4 or 5. So do you put him to the whatever the school level, or do you give the evaluation about the level and put him to the proper group? So that's my question.
So they're going into grade 3, and they're with.
Yes, he's going to the grade 3, but his math is pretty good. He's good for multiplication or division.
Okay, should be fine then.
Yes.
If they're already multiplying and going
so
into grade 3.
Level, yeah.
Singapore math is this is, my books here says appropriate for students in grade 3, but that's I have to compare that to our current curriculum, which I have right here. So
do you do evaluation, or should you just based on their school level grade and put to the
there is, I didn't talk about that. Thank you. There is a final test at the end. It's hard to do to assign a mark. Well, it's not, but the answers are in the back of the book, right? So there's no, it's not something that I can police and I can throw out at you without. But so there's a test at the end, and we'll go through that at the end of the class. So I can give you a mark on what you have accomplished, if that's what you're asking there.
So the material you're using for the class, it's for the the Singapore math, or they have different things. I heard about the Singapore Olympian.
So it's oh, go on. Sorry.
Sorry, I grade 4 for him. He's kind of half and half. Like I have to explain the question, so he's okay. So I just want to compare the what is the challenge level for those two. So if he's okay for the grade 3 or grade 4 Singapore Olympian book. So I don't know which level he should be put in. You know what I mean? So that's my question. Sorry.
It sounds like he'd be fine for grade 3. Looking at the Ontario curriculum, it's very similar to Singapore Math Level 3.
Okay.
You'll find that there's multiple companies and books all called Singapore Math, and those are all based around the Singapore Math curriculum. And they started doing this, I guess, in the early 2000s, or it started getting, from what their website says, that's when they started getting noticed that their math students were usually a level ahead of most the average American math student. So,
Mhm.
but it's fairly in line with the Ontario curriculum as well. So here, by the end of grade 3, students can count forwards and backwards and add numbers up to 1,000, which is the same requirement for grade 3 in here.
That's too easy. Okay,
Yeah.
I
Well,
got it.
that's the first. That's why we do that in the first day.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
first week is adding and subtracting, and then we get in multiplication a little bit more. So
Okay. Okay, thanks.
you're
I
welcome.
think the course should be interesting. Just want to challenge him. If it's too easy, say I'm going to register him for the grade 3 and 4. If it's too easy, then maybe he can move to other group. That's my my concern about it.
Okay.
The level of the challenge. Okay, thanks.
Well, there's the grade 4 as well. So the grade 4 is
Mhm.
simultaneous. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Another question that
Thanks.
we have, and I'm pretty sure you kind of answered it already, Mr. Dean,
Mhm.
is do you start with the basics or do you jump directly to the word problems?
We start with the basics and with pictures and the word problems come afterwards in a way. So if I remove my amazing background here and show you my messy desk, I can show you this. Where is Zoom? I'll take a picture for next time, but virtual background, none. Hello. It's my old record player. Okay. So if we let's look at, this is the grade 4 book. At the beginning of a unit, there's 10 to 20 examples of the concept that we're trying to teach. And then they start, so this is grade 4 review. Yeah, the word problems kind of come after they show the more picture concepts. So there's some picture concepts of like how many, the 3 by, that would be 9 chairs, 9 sets of 4. So we could multiply them, or we could count how many chairs. They're in groups of 4. And then the word questions come afterwards. So it's spiraled as well, sort of. So which means when we revisit some of those concepts as we get further on, and then it's also, it starts a lot easier and gets harder as it goes.
Okay, thank you. And then there was another student asking if there are any courses for 6th graders. And yes, there are several courses. We have a few more coming up. So math being one of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it for all the questions. So thanks again, Mr. Dean.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a great night.